Y'all know what it is. It's the Find the Boxer game. Purchase a box for a chance at winning $500. One of 54 boxes has a missing boxer inside. Purchase your box or boxes by Cash Apping $ usual 50/50. Include your box number, name, and email address. Your box number will be confirmed and sent directly to your email. Each box is $20 with a 1 in 54 chance of winning. Remaining proceeds will go directly to the LDBC meet and greet in Las Vegas. Shout out to the LDBC, and remember,
it's a usual suspect day.
Y'all know what it is. It's the usual suspect 650-50 draw. Buy your tickets now for your chance at winning half the pot. Cash App, $ usual 50/50. Tickets on sale for $10 for one, $20 for 3 tickets, and $50 for 10 tickets. Put your desired amount, name or alias, as well as your email address, and your tickets will be set. We announce the winning ticket numbers every other Friday on Supreme Beats Boxing Talk Bullshit on the Beltway, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Remaining proceeds will go directly to the LDBC meet and greet in Las Vegas. Shout out to the LDBC, and remember,
it's a usual suspect day.
Push the weight and no flex. Flex the livest one in the section. With the runner boy, you nigga, no question. You will run a motherfucker high stepping. Hey, you never had a big enough weapon. Motherfucker never learned your lesson. I'm an 88 pack nigga. I'm an 88 pack nigga. I mean, day walker, drink blood, fangs out, full moon, motherfucker change like a hoe. I'm just a nigga from the hood trying to stack a little cheddar for the money.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. On this beautiful Sunday, March 23rd, 2025, Drew Titan, Bronx on deck. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. I am Drew Titan. That is the Sensei Stormy B-Man. We're live, direct, in your grill. We're live and direct in your grill. And, you know, I'm always in the mood for a great discussion of boxing talk. Let me do this roll call real quick. HC Boxing in the building. My brother Tat Lawson, he says, Drew, I heard you cooking last night on Jason Black's broadcast. Keep educating the people on the corruption in boxing. Salute to you. If y'all don't know, salute to the Black Authority. The brother Jason Black, he's always cooking. And last night, the brother had a show dedicated to the late great, one of the all-time greats, George Foreman. And I usually don't call in the Jason Black show. I just listen. But it was boxing. So I was listening, and there was a lot of questions he was asking. Of course, our brother Deontay came up. So, you know, and there was a lot of things being said in the chat. So I just couldn't help myself. I had to call in and give a real perspective from an educated point of view, because I know. And, you know, we had a great discussion, and salute to him. Go subscribe to the Black Authority with the brother Jason Black. Been around for a good while. You know what I mean? Yeah. Salute to the good brother Jason Black, and salute to you, Tat Lawson, that super chat. Much love. The brother Cano Loco in the building. MXC, Rod Neal, Snoopy Mac in the building. Todd Swindle, Gerard Harlem in the building. Acondo, my brother, salute. Daryl Anderson, what up? Stephen X, he was in the chat. Salute to Stephen X, my brother, salute. Yeah, Vegas. We outside, baby. Jarrell Freeman, Mark Hairston, Aaron Butler, Shogun, Anthony. Cameron Fields, salute my queen. How are you? Smash the like button, like and share the video. Y'all see the title. Y'all see the title. And this is a touchy topic, but it must be had because it's an ongoing conversation. And we actually had a situation just last night. And it's the more things change, the more things stay the same. Now, the pictures, Stormy fell off, we'll be back. The pictures that I have, let me put this up right here. The pictures that I have up, y'all may recognize. That is Dave Moretti, Tim Cheatham. There's really a damn boxing judge named Cheatham. You cannot make this up. Tim Cheatham, Steve Weinsfeld, and that's Adieli, what's that woman's name? Adieli, what is her last name? That's the woman from the, we got to know her from the Canelo and Triple G fight, the first one. What is her name? Adieli, what is this woman's name? Man, what is her name? Bird. Thank you, iRock. Salute, brother. Bird, and the name is so fitting. That's what most people say. Adele Bird. Holy crap. Do y'all remember that? Shade Girl, salute. Y'all remember that? And y'all remember I did a whole show on Moretti and Cheatham and Weinsfeld. Y'all remember why I did that show? Should I just say it now or should I wait for the Tank fans to pull up? Well, don't bother. I'm just going to call it how I see it because that's what I do. These were the fools that didn't... Y'all remember when I said they were about to rob Tank in that Ryan Garcia fight? Remember when I said all Ryan had to do was go to 12? And they either gave him a draw and or they were going to rob Tank. Y'all remember what happened in round 2 of that fight? Tank dropped Ryan, right? Y'all remember what these fools did? They didn't even score that knockdown, bro. I put the scorecards up. And everyone was like, what is going on? I said, they were about to rob Tank. What you mean? They loved them some Ryan Garcia. Mr. Shelton, salute. And I said, man, how are these people employed? You remember that? Brother Reef, salute. You know what I mean? I'm like, what's going on? I was like, what's going on? 8A Sports Talk, salute. I'm like, what's going on? So I'm just trying to figure out, these judges. Remember, I put up the salary, prize fighter, what up? Chill Time Majors, what up? Y'all remember I put up the salary of these guys? Y'all remember that? Wasn't much, but well, actually, let me say this. I would love to be a judge on that level, championship level, because you could you can get ahead of some bills if you would get the call for about 3 to 4 cards in a year on top of my salary. I mean, who wouldn't want an extra 10 grand to cover a fight? Oh, salute, RM. Salute, brother. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Welcome, brother. Welcome to the Strong House. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. And shout out to Jason Black. That's the fam right there. Yeah, he let me cook. Jason let me cook. I was the last caller on the Black Authority last night. We was talking some boxing. He let me cook. So when we look at these judges, when we talk about corruption, Gnarly Ray, salute. Okay, Stormy. Okay, I figured that. We talk about the corruption in boxing. This right here with these guys and this one woman, Bird, Weinsfeld, Cheatham, and Moretti, I still can't get over this guy's name. Tim Cheatham. He's an actual judge, man. Hold on, man. Let me. Now I got the clown a little bit. This guy's name is Tim Cheatham. Godfather.
Yeah. You can't make this shit up, people. You cannot make this shit up.
You cannot make this up. That's crazy. Waffles in that super chat. Salute to you, man. Salute, Drew. You did your thing on Jason's stream. Oh, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. I love, y'all know I love talking boxing. I don't want to like get into arguments and nothing like that. But like I said, the brother just let me cook. There was some things that, you know, he wasn't privy to. And y'all know, affiliated with Team Bomb Squad and DHP, and you know, there was things he didn't know, so I just, you know, brought it to his attention. He wasn't privy to the information about Tyson Fury's association with Daniel Kinahan. A lot of people don't know, and they don't know because ESPN doesn't speak on it. Now, actually, when we talk about corrupt judging, we're also talking about the corruption in boxing as a whole. These judges are paid. Just Spark, my brother, salute. These judges are paid by whom? I told Jason and his audience about how they changed the judges and how they changed the referee. They changed the referee 2 days before the main event. Y'all remember that? And I didn't know, Mr. Mont, salute. I didn't know until we was headed to Vegas, and I had to call Tay Jones. I said, Tay, y'all know, and I was having a brain fart last night because it was late. I was tired, but they got what's his name to do that damn. They swapped out Ortega. He was the original qualified judge, and they put in what's his name, this fool that ref the Agbeko and Mares fight where there was like 104 low blows that he didn't call. And they had the nerve to rob Agbeko on the cards. Y'all remember that? And I was looking at the name and I couldn't think. I said, why do I know this name? So I went on my phone. Jimmy Bernard, what up? I went on my phone and I said, what the hell? No, brother. It wasn't Jay Nady. What was his name, y'all? I did a whole show on it. Oh, man. Because he retired. He's a WBA official of all places, the WBA. The racist WBA. Now, a majority of them are racist. What am I talking about? Come on, guys, help me out. Who was the referee for Wilder Fury 3? I did a whole thing. Russell Mora. Thank you, Mr. Shelton. Russell Mora. Well, if you're new here, go look up Abner Mares versus Joseph Agbeko. Russell Mora, Agbeko, I don't even know if he can have kids anymore. He got hit low. I mean, these were below the belt line. He was actually using his nuts as a speed bag. He was actually using his balls as a speed bag in that fight. And nothing was called. Nothing was called. They took that fool, right? And he got the assignment on Wilder Fury 3. So you had that going on. And then round 4, Fury got dropped twice. Russell Moore starts counting, stop the count. Dosey Does Wilder sends him to another corner. And I'm in the building like, count, what the, yo, I went ballistic. So when we talk about judging, it's really not only judging. Wilder was fighting not only Tyson Fury, who was drugged up, but he was fighting the system. See, judging is cool when it benefits you. When you're fighting against, when your fighter is benefiting from the corruption, you really ain't got much to say. But that's also a dangerous slope because at any point, they could yank the carpet from underneath your feet. Teofimo Lopez found that out. When he got on in front of somebody's camera, and I'm going to play it for you, and said this was the stupidest thing he ever said. Listen, this is Teofimo Lopez in 2018, y'all. Listen to this.
Hey, Devin Haney made a comment trying to make whatever it is. But at the end of the day, Devin, you don't know. The WBC is not going to have you, even if you do the competition, they're not going to have you fight for the title. You can get mad at everything. I'm fighting for the title after this fight, for the IBF. And then after that, me and Loma for all 4. And where are you? You're not going to get a shot, bro. And you don't know that, but we do. And that's what we did. I'm not going to fight more fights. So it is what it is, man. Talk what you got to talk, my dude. But at the end of the day, you're not becoming a world champion at 135.
He done told the world where the murder weapon came from. Basically, in plain English, he just told you that the WBO and the WBC were in cahoots to move Teofimo Lopez in a certain direction and freeze out the brother Devin Haney. The fix was in. And not only did Devin Haney contradict everything he said by winning a title, but he became undisputed at 135. And this is what they do to black fighters, y'all. Things like that. Now, is ESPN going to point that out? No, but they'll have you believe that Floyd Mayweather ducked Manny Pacquiao for 4 to 5 years. And that's not true. That's not true. They'll have you thinking that Devin Haney's an email champion and disregard the person that sent him the email, which was Vasily Lomachenko. They'll have you thinking that Lomachenko was undefeated. Let me run this for those who are new to the Strong House. Let me run this video. Okay, let me show you what ignorance does when people just listen to ESPN and guys like Stephen A. Snitch who really don't know anything about boxing. Well, first and foremost, let me run this for you. Let me show you this. I have it handy. This was on ESPN. They had him as 14 wins, no losses, and 10 knockouts. Excuse me. 14 comes way after 2. This man lost his second pro fight. This is ESPN doing this. This is the first time they did it. They did it again after this. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, wait a minute. Was that reversed to a no contest? What happened? What happened? And people look at ESPN because they're the worldwide leader in sports, and they never, ever do their own due diligence because they trust the worldwide leader in sports to tell them correct. And you get idiots that look at this and think they could come to our chat with their ridiculous talking points. And no shade to homie doing this, but this is what happens when you're ignorant.
Unified, undefeated. Unified, undefeated.
What?
Undefeated.
What?
Undefeated.
What?
Undefeated.
What?
Undefeated.
What?
Undefeated.
What the hell is even that?
That will never get old.
No, the one that doesn't get old is when he's like, what? I love that one right there.
Yo, I mean, listen. I don't have to get on here and lie. When I don't know something, I'll ask the audience, yo, am I right on this? Or, you know, I don't have to, listen, I'm not no guru. You understand? But I know what I know. When I formulated an opinion, it's based off of the facts. All right, to challenge my opinion is to challenge the facts. I speak of the facts. I speak of the facts. Y'all know who I'm quoting. They told you that Vasily Lomachenko was 14 wins, no losses, and 10 knockouts. And I said, the guy lost his second pro fight. What are you talking about? Devin Haney's an email champion. Who sent the email? He did. But then when you get these knuckle dragging Negroes way off code, calling him an email champion, and some of these guys are professionals. So I could deal with the ignorant knuckle draggers. But then when you got the people who are getting paid hundreds of thousands and some of them millions of dollars using the term email champion, that's a sad state of affairs. As a matter of fact, that term don't exist anymore. Isn't Tank Davis an email champion? That WBA strap he has, did he fight for it? Or did the WBA give them Devin's belt because he went up in weight? I can't stand you.
All my troubles come more nigga. Yeah, it makes me mad. Why you niggas are so against somebody for you?
How much longer do you think your
It
mom
makes me so mad. Long enough to beat your ass if you fuck up. That's right. You might not get out of the stadium tonight. You gotta be cool because you've been watched.
Y'all saw a young Bob Arum in that clip? He was like 104 there. Smash my like button, like and share the video. We are our own algorithm. Don't leave Google or YouTube up to do anything for us. Salute to everybody that saw me or heard me on the Black Authority that's here this evening. I am Drew Titan. That is the Sensei Stormy B-Man. Y'all put his link in the chat. We talk boxing. We're not going back and forth with other channels. We're not into the arguing. We're not doing that. This is boxing talk. And there's a reason why they call this man the Sensei. So, Stormy, take it from here. Your thoughts on the atmosphere and what we're talking about as far as in reference to bad judging and the corrupt atmosphere of boxing.
It's really holding the sport back, because one of the things that I like to express about not giving a fighter who has earned the merit of victory their just due is you do not help the sport to progress by awarding bad behavior. It's like kids when you've got siblings that, you know, you got one that's doing what mom and dad says, you got one that's looking to go against what the rules of the house is, and you got another one that's trying to play in the middle and be like, y'all listen to mom, you know, I don't want to, and then they, you know, covering for somebody, and everybody gets a spanking at the end.
Yeah,
when something goes wrong, because if you got the proper parents, everybody's getting a spanking. But what builds out of that is the dissension that the one who didn't do anything wrong has against the siblings that's always getting them in trouble. They grow up saying, man, sometimes I wish I didn't have brothers and sisters because I try to do what we've been told to do, and this knucklehead over here won't do it.
That's right.
And then we all get spankings. I don't like it. So in judging and refereeing, officiating fights, when they give the house fighter, the guy whose name on the marquee, the guy that the promoter is trying to build up or trying to push into a position of a money bout or a title shot or retain a title, any of those scenarios that it can fall under, when they act in favor of said fighter when they didn't deserve or earn, the growth stops right there. Yeah. Meaning that if they deserve to lose a decision, they don't go back to the lab to correct their wrongs. They don't get and develop a sense of, what can I do to get better? I had a setback. I have to acknowledge that. Now I got to change up something because what I did going in didn't get me the victory. So the trainers and those who help you prepare don't have to acknowledge their own shortcomings. And so born of that is the sentiment like, well, we'll just stay away from guys like that in the future. Or why should I fight a guy that's like that? Or who is he? What has he done? He doesn't have, you know, what is his resume? You know, nobody knows him. You know, all of these things, that because that all comes up under these type of decisions that are made.
Right.
When you had a tough challenge, you were behind on the scorecards, but you were able to find a rhythm and sweep the championship rounds. When you were behind on the scorecards and you pulled a victory out with a late round stoppage, or you made the opponent quit, or make the opponent's corner stop the fight, you build a sense of it truly isn't over till it's over.
It's over. That's right.
I truly can still get it done, even if it's a dark moment for me, because I've gone through it in the past. I know I can turn this around, or at least put myself in a position for it to be turned around.
Right.
These are the kind of things that are built out of making one acknowledge their shortcomings. I tell the story all the time about when I was a sophomore in high school. I had a social studies instructor that I had to turn in an assignment, and I kind of quickly did the assignment last minute, haphazardly and everything, but I turned it in. I kind of fairly thought I knew the subject that we were studying, and he read it. He read my homework and he said, "You're lazy." Said, "You thought that turning this in was just enough to get you to slide by." He's like, "I'm not letting you slide by. You're going to do this assignment over, and you're going to include particularities according to the subject that we had to cover on in the assignment." And he said, "And if you don't do that, I'm failing you." So quite naturally, it's back to the drawing board. Get that assignment turned in correctly, because a failing grade in my household meant a shoe in the behind by my parents, both of them, you know? So, of course, I went back, I redid the assignment, turned it in. I didn't get the grade that I could have gotten for turning it in the first time, but it taught me a lesson. And I always remembered that. And I can share it with you all today because it stuck with me. Right. About doing your best, or half-assing it, as we could say. And see, these officials, they may have taken bribes, money under the table, free dinners and meals and things like that, whatever is the thing that'll get them to sell. If we have something like open scoring, that takes it out of their hands.
Right.
Because they don't allow you to interview them where you can actually inquire and say, "Hey, why did you do XYZ? Why did you score the fight that way? Can you explain to us what you were looking at?" And see, by not allowing someone to make those type of inquiries, then they don't get to subject themselves to the fact that they may not even know the rules themselves. Do you remember HBO, Showtime, Friday night fights, Tuesday night fights, CBS, Saturday morning, Sunday afternoon fights? ABC, Wide World of Sports, they would always, before the matches took place, they would put the rules on the screen. Clean and effective punching, ring generalship, sound defense. They would put in a 10-point must system. A fighter can only be saved by the bell in the last round. They would put all that stuff on the screen for even the casual observer to know what the rules are.
That's how you're supposed to score the fight, based off of what you're looking at.
They don't do that anymore.
That's right.
You got already seated at the scores table announcers who don't even pass that information on to you no more. But they talk like experts that really know what they're saying, and because they're on television and they're sitting ringside, they may even be former world fighters themselves. But you're taking their word for it that they are being genuine. But they may have agendas because the producers say, hey, Joe Diaz is our guy, so make sure you talk him up. Well, if Joe Diaz is getting his ass handed to him, I look foolish sitting there saying, well, Joe, he got hit with that shot, but he turned his head a little bit, so it took a lot of the steam off of the shot. I'm like looking at, man, his eye is cut, bro. What the hell are you talking about? And at the end of this, the winner by a split decision is Joe Diaz. And it's like, wait a minute. He got whooped 7 out of the 10 rounds. But the judge and the ref, the officials, they're not available to answer that scorecard.
Any questions?
They're not available. They're not there to say, well, the reason I saw it this way is because of X, Y, Z. Because guess what? A lot of it, their decisions aren't merited in what the rules of the sport are. They're not. You cannot tell me they are. Punch Stat says last night, Regina Chavez threw over 500 punches in 2-minute rounds of a 10-round fight, and her opponent scored and threw far less. Her power punching stats, everything was higher. But they gave the winner to the other person, and she was on the defensive all night. She was taking blows. She was being outpunched when the end of the rounds were coming around. The heat got turned up on her every single round. It was like, no way in God's world did that happen the way it did and get the score that it got. But there was no one to answer for it. No one. So when we talk about what we're saying, we're talking about this has to change. Fighters spend too much of their time. And understand when I say this means both sides, who won and who didn't, and all of that. They spend too much time away from their families, damaging their bodies, strict diets, time being uncomfortable, cutting weight to go into an event, do the best that they can, and shine, and then only to not get the proper decision or award of merit of victory because of corruption. Some fighters, when they suffer a loss like the young lady did last night, they get pushed way to the back of consideration for future opportunities. And the person who did get it will get it put in a fight and then get knocked the hell out in the very next time.
They're being used.
They didn't deserve to be there.
That's right.
You see, so it affects the sport. And you sitting at home, you're watching. I remember this lady. She fought and she got a decision, but she shouldn't win. And she goes in there against Gabriella Fondora and gets smashed to bits, as they like to say in the UK. And you'd be like, well, she really shouldn't have been in there. But that girl, Chavez, looked like she might have been able to defend Gabriella a little better, and her work rate was very high. We could have seen a better fight.
That's right.
Plus, she had a record that indicated that she had taken some losses, whether they were legit or not. But even the announcers expressed that the last time we saw her, she did not look this good. She has really improved. Why? Because she wants to be the best that she can be. So she took those losses. She didn't sulk. She didn't complain. She got better. And they still did something like this to her. This is why we speak in the sense of for the best of the sport and the fighters participating. I feel the same way when it comes down to fighters who get injured and fighters who don't get the proper attention when they get stopped or something. very consistent about this stuff. And it is too much of imbalance here, which is why when you look forward to someone like Turki Al-Sheikh and what he is trying to do, you want to see some change, because maybe it'll just stir the pot, because a lot of what was gathered at the bottom has molded and everything, and we need it scooped out of there. That doesn't mean that this man is perfect. Right. But who else has asked for change in all of this time? That man is younger than I am. He's in his 40s. So he's been watching fights for a few years less than I have. But something has ignited an inspiration in him to say, I have all this money. I'm going to try to become an influencer in the sport of boxing. Because all these other folks are just passing envelopes to each other. We just saw over the past 2 years that Ed Hearn and Matchroom were standing behind Conor Benn.
Yep.
A drug cheat.
Yep.
He wasn't caught once. He was caught more than once. If you look at Conor Benn and you just go back 5 years ago, he doesn't even look the same.
No, you don't.
You don't get a build like what he has, and you kind of try to mask it with tattoo art, body art, and all that. No, brother, you've been in there doping and heavily doping to the degree that it changed his psychological mindset. Yep. He has anger management issues. He's on something. You can see it. But they tell you he's been cleared to fight. They didn't say he didn't cheat. They didn't say he didn't pop dirty. They said they're clearing him. Why? Because it's been 2 years that he couldn't fight over there. He fought over here. Hearn slipped him in on some American cards when he shouldn't be fighting at all. Where is due process and justice? And don't forget, when he got popped, that was during a time when they were trying to make the promotion between he and Eubank Jr. the first go around.
They've been trying to kill Eubank Jr. for at least 2 years. That's how I look at it. They've been trying to kill him.
Let me tell you guys something. Eubank Sr. put Matchroom on the map. It was Chris Eubank Sr. with his success, simply the best, out there beating people's ass in the super middleweight division. He had become a fighter of marketability, world class. He put them on the map. Chris Eubank Sr. And so when he walked away from them because they had disagreement over business, because he's a very intelligent man, mind you, what they try to portray him as.
Yep.
Yes, he's an eccentric person, but he is very intelligent. He told him, okay, if you want to be like that, give me my painting that you got in your offices, and I will walk away from all of this. They had a painting of him, dressed to the nines, sitting in a chair in their main office of their facility. He's told this story himself. They didn't even want to give the man his painting back. It's him. It's his image. Why do you want to hold it and hang it in what they call it, the gallows of your facilities?
Unbelievable, bro. This.
So they're so bitter and they're so angry that they're forcibly trying to make this fight between his son and Ben.
You see
There's
why?
a lot more to this than people know. Corruption. There's some burnt feelings and edges in Matchroom with Hearn. Why would you go and make yourself look like an ass standing up for a guy who is a bone cold drug cheat, trying to make all of these different excuses and everything. Okay, fine. You want to do that? Okay. Well, what the fuck about Jarrell Miller? What about him? Y'all suspended him for 3 years. You act like you don't know the man. He even sucked up to you in front of public cameras and came to you. I want to come back.
I want to come home. That's what he said. That's what he said.
And you dissed him. You disrespected him.
Yep.
Why couldn't he get the same treatment from you like Conor Benn got? Is it because Conor Benn is your countryman and Miller isn't? He's still a fighter.
Stormy, where's Dillian White's B sample?
Yeah.
Y'all forgot about that?
And Dillian White has tested positive more than any of them.
That's right. He's the black Alexander Povetkin, who knocked him out, by the way, on Master Eddie Hearn's front lawn. I'm not kidding. That happened, y'all. Knocked him out on his front lawn. Remember we was still fighting in the bubble? Remember that? That happened. Before I go on to these cash apps and super chats, I want y'all to understand the same media that doesn't want to talk about Daniel Kinahan in America, right? The same media that doesn't want to talk about how Tyson Fury is no longer allowed on American soil is the same media that will tell you the legend of Willie Pep, how he won a boxing round without throwing a single punch, and sell you that is pure legendary boxing. That same media and those same people pushing that on you is the same media that'll tell you that Floyd Mayweather was boring for 10 years and Devin Haney got pillow fists and Deontay Wilder can't box. It's the same media. I need you to think about that. Not 86 in that super chat. Much love. He said salute Drew and salute Stormy. And as always, salute to the mighty LDBC. Much love to everyone in the chat. Hashtag LDBC for life. Hashtag F the haters. Hashtag stay support, man. Salute to you, good brother. Thank you so much. And salute to Eric Jordan in that Cash App, always supporting. He says, damn, Miguel, nasty work again. Clapping sellout. Yes, sir. Hell yeah. Go ahead, Stormy.
Yeah, I wanted to say salute to EJ also in the Cash App for me. Appreciate you, brother. He says, Miguel, don't miss a chance to clap. Hashtag Bukaki.
Oh, shit.
Bukaki.
Soundboards in flames, bro. But yeah, it's always deeper than what most people, and see, these are things that the average fan either doesn't have the attention span. And I'm not saying this to be disrespectful, but this is what we do. I'm immersed into this, and when you just see something that looks fugazi, I promise you guys, it is not an isolated incident. There are storylines being built. There are storylines being built, and unfortunately, it's built off the backs of the person that was away from their family for about 6 to 8 weeks. You know what I mean? Longer than that. And they put in the work, like Stormy said, diet, sparring, beating themselves up. And then when they get into that ring and they give it their all, and it's like, hey, man, I think this guy won. 8 rounds to 4. And then he doesn't get the nod, and you're looking at, look, Michael Fox. Michael Fox wasn't even totally fighting. And I just saw Stormy, Gabriel Maestri, he has a fight coming up. Okay, for those of you that don't know, first of all, he got to the ring with skin gloves and got caught, right? You heard the ref saying, who signed off on these? And somebody from the commission said, I didn't. Then he fights Michael Fox. Michael Fox starts whooping his ass, dropped him in that fight, gets to the cards. They robbed Michael Fox. He wrote a detailed letter, and their response to him was, "We've totally investigated ourselves and found no wrongdoing." That's the WBA. The WBA, let me pull this up for you. For those who forgot, the WBA, y'all remember Gloria Martinez? This woman, she was one of the judges. Why is this important? This is the woman that was discovered calling Michelle Obama all kinds of monkeys on Twitter, right? So she's a racist. Gabriel Maestri, or Maestro, whatever the hell his name is, obviously is Latino. So that's why he got the nod. They were moving him. I think he's an Olympian, if I remember. They're moving him in a particular direction. She was the judge. And mind you, y'all, she was reprimanded. I'm not sure. Y'all got to refresh my memory because it's been about 2 or 3 years now.
It was only more like a vacation for her ass.
It was a vacation
because they brought her right back in the fold.
Right, and I did a video on that. She's also married to a high-ranking official in the WBA.
Yeah, the president of the
president.
WBA.
Okay,
if I'm not mistaken, that Mendoza cat.
Mendoza, yeah, this is his wife.
Yeah.
So they, I don't know if she was suspended because of her racist rant on Twitter. You don't have to like Michelle Obama, but to call her a monkey. That's crazy. And then she was the one of the judges that scored the bout for Maestri. And we all saw the fight. We all knew what we was looking at. And when we say corruption is deep, you guys really have no clue. The casual fly-by-night guys, when we say things, yo, this is deep-rooted and da-da-da-da. Again, I was on Jason Black's, I was in the chat, I was reading things. And they were just on the outside looking in. What Wilder needs to do. Wilder can't boxing. Wilder this. And I'm watching this like, oh my God. And I had to get on there and say something. I'm like, it's not what you think. It's y'all on the outside looking in. It's like when you walk by and you see a car crash. And 50% of the people will say, well, Dan, that's bad. What happened? The other 50 will say, that's what he get for speeding. But nobody knows what happened. His brakes could have failed. Somebody could have cut him off. But 50% will say, that's what he get. Another 50 will say, what happened? You see what I mean?
How does Elijah Garcia come away with a split decision over a fight where Terrell Gaucher not only showed him a boxing lesson, but had him on the canvas?
How did that happen?
Had him hesitant and leaking and everything. And they just let the kid come through. Yeah, we discussed earlier on the call-in show about it, but it still doesn't ring to be without corruption, without the fact that you worried about this man stringing together 2 losses to black fighters that may not be the most prominent of black fighters. So it's like, to steal and give him a victory when he didn't earn it, you're staving off what's evident about him. Now, I'll tell you guys, we saw something like this similar with Fernando Vargas during his career.
Yes.
They really were trying to press that young man and fight against the top fighters in the sport instead of allowing him to grow and get to that level. They leapfrog and start putting him in too fast and everything, and he got his head handed to him several times by the elite fighters that were at the top of the sport at that time. You see, so they don't even learn their damn lessons.
No.
They continue to try to force things. And I'm going to tell you guys something about PEDs and the fact that they're being used and so prevalent. This is because the superiority of the melanated fighters. The melanated fighters have talent and ability that it comes natural. And so in order to level the playing field, these guys are out here with lab-induced assistance to just try to be able to compete. And hard work and dedication just doesn't happen to be enough. when you can cut the corners and have the old Nazi approach to things, because all of that comes from Adolf. When he saw Jesse Owens out there on that track and nobody could hold a candle to what he was doing in those Olympics, he commissioned his people. You got to find a way that can make us be able to be in contention for what he did. Because he set records, y'all. What was that, 1938? Something like that, 36? Yeah, he set records. And they went on and took that same study of that and applied it to not only sports and athletics, they also applied it to the military.
Military, sure did.
When he said that he wanted to create a master race,
that's what he meant.
In other words, a full army of Steve Rogers.
Yep.
He wanted to be able to crush the world with what he thought would be an advantage. And let me tell you something. You can play ignorant and dumb all you want. They got them. They're out there now. They are. There have been reports of military ops overseas in certain parts of the world and country where they're doing a lot of dirt. Where you don't get that on CNN and everything, but they doing stuff because they running trial and everything. They got men who are damn near 8 feet tall. Military doing a lot of this stuff. A single shot ain't gonna take them down. Yeah. Did you see how Tyson Fury popped up off the canvas when he fought Deontay Wilder? You guys couldn't understand that, could you? Because you're like, well, damn, Wilder hits people and they done, right?
They don't want to talk about that.
But he popped up, didn't he? And it wasn't like the Undertaker, because the Undertaker is scripted. Wrestling is scripted.
Listen, man. Listen, and salute to Freedom's March and that super chat. Much love and appreciation. And this is where I get on you, knuckle draggers. You guys that are walking around with your feet looking like your hands. When you say give me 5 on the black hand side, that's your whole hand and your feet. You're disgusting. Dig this here, man. Again, I mentioned this last night. That man postponed the fight in July and said the whole camp had COVID and left the damn country. And we were still in the middle of the pandemic. That weekend, Joseph Parker, who was in Fury's camp, was cited at a UFC event. And they said, man, the whole camp had COVID. You got COVID? He said, what? And he's in there in that arena in Vegas with no mask on, nothing. There was no COVID. We asked Jarrell Miller, and he was on there being a big baby. We don't know what he's talking about. Then he comes back to the States. They fight in October. He got obliterated. Deontay Wilder catches anybody clean like that, they're waking up in the emergency room. Or 3 days later from a damn coma, he pops up off the floor, twice knocked down, like nothing happened. And I'm watching that fight in round 11. He's bouncing around on the balls of his feet like nothing happened. You can't tell me that he wasn't on drugs. The proof of the drugs was in his performance, but you couldn't find it during the testing because it was already gone or flushed out. Flushed out, like how Ryan Garcia using a legal IV to flush it out his system, but still didn't do a good enough job because they found the 1/1000th of a gram of ostarine in it. Let me ask you dummies a question. How do you inject the 1/1000th of a gram in your system? How did it get there? You still want to believe that he was poisoned? Who did it? He blamed Ashwagandha. They didn't do it. He blamed Perfect Amino. They didn't do it. He blamed Supercard. They didn't do it. He blamed Scooter. He didn't do it. He brought up the snack program. He blamed Bill Haney. He blamed the New York State Athletic Commission. And then when all of that failed, he wants to resurrect George Floyd and kill him again. And I gotta listen to you niggas reveal your epic man crush on this man.
Man crush.
This is why I hate you monkeys.
Yeah, come on! Yeah, man, come on! Yeah, man, come on! Yeah, man, come on! Yeah, man, come on! Better than that!
I mean, I do it for a joke. But you know, there's a lot of like realism behind why I did that video. I laughed, but the fact that I have to do it, it's pretty sad, isn't it? I mean, how do y'all feel when you hear a black person stand in the pocket for Ryan Garcia? I just virtually knocked a hole in Quentin Rampage Jackson's fucking head. And he, family, you know he responded to me? He did. I'll leave that off the air. But how the conversation ended, I had to tell him what he was about and how he's failed as a black man and where to go. And I'll pray for his kids because they cut from his cloth. That's all I'm gonna say. Rashad, knock his fucking block off. Because he's a band. He's a band. B-A-N. He's a band. Because he said exactly what we stand against. That's one less Negro that we have to talk about. And I actually got a video coming out about him. But you know what I'm gonna let y'all know right now? Because I'm gonna put it in the video. Press 1 in the chat if y'all watch MMA and is very familiar with disciplines. Press 1 in the chat. Press 1 in the chat. Because Stormy, I'm gonna let you know something real funny about this. And I thought about this yesterday, and I said, holy cow, the irony. Y'all ready for this? You ready for this? Who was his last MMA fight against? Put the name in the chat. Who was his last fight against? Storm, you gonna laugh your ass, bro? Because I just thought about this and I said, wait a minute. Who was the last time he was in the cage? Who was his last fight against? Now, I could be wrong. It might be a second or third to last, but who was the last guy he fought? Put the name in the chat. Wasn't it Fedor Emelianenko? Was it Chael Sonnen? I don't know. It was Fedor, right? It was Fedor Emelianenko, the last emperor. It was in Bellator. Was it Chael Sonnen or was it Fedor? No, it wasn't John Jones. It was Fedor and Bellator, right? When he came in there with titties on his hips, right? It was Fedor. Can I ask you all a question? What is Fedor's martial art? Put it in the chat. Peter's marching that super chat. He says, "Shotty on your back." Erica Badu. Hell yeah. It was Fedor, right? What is Fedor Emelianenko's martial arts discipline? What's it named? Put it in the chat. Because I knew this and I said, damn, wait a minute.
Whoa! What the That's kind of pretty before it gets started, ain't it? Oh, Froggy when he courtin', he did ride Crambo. Froggy when he courtin', he did ride Crambo. Froggy when he courtin', he did ride a sword and a revolver by his side. Crambo. Crambo killed That's a hard part right in there, and nephew. Crambo killed a la flop a doodle yellow, but too long did he cover up top bottom of Crambo. Aliole!
What? I'm not kidding. It's called Russian Sambo. How crazy is it that he lost?
Hello, monkeys.
Yeah.
Monkey!
There is no part of that roast he could win. I'm listening, I'm reading what he wrote, and I'm like, and the whole time I'm like, he sound like every ignorant nigga that we speak out against. And I said, wait a minute. I said, fuck it. I said, wait a minute. He lost to Fedor. I said, Fedor's discipline is Russian Sambo. How funny is that? Don't worry. I'm doing a video tonight. That's not connecting with it. That's the first thing I thought of. I said, yo, he lost to Fedor. Fedor, his discipline is called, look it up, it's called Russian Sambo. And he whooped on a Sambo. Hey, bro. Where the Godfather at, man? Godfather.
Yeah. You can't make this shit up, people. You cannot make this shit up.
And if you look at Quentin Rampage Jackson, when he came in there against Fedor, how did he look? Crazy out of shape. And he walked in and I said, could he win? Is he gonna win?
Bullshit.
Hey, bro. Hey, Quentin, there's no part of this roast you could ever win. And do you know? Let's do it. Hey, bro, I'm gonna read to you what he responded.
Hold on, before you go there, Drew. Let me hit this this notice from the Cash App from a brother, the International Quiet Storm, Theo Coop. Man, he hit up my Cash App pretty heavy there. He says, for blessing Theo Coop's channel. He says, salute, Sensei. Thank you so much, brother. Thank you so much. Much love to you for that, brother. Much love.
Real. Salute. So what I did was I sent Quentin, because y'all remember I texted him. I said, are you okay? And I said, brother, are you okay? And all I said to him is, you need to be careful about who you support. Ryan Garcia said he hates niggas and fuck Muslims, and he wants to resurrect George Floyd and kill him again, da-da-da. And then I sent him a link to what he said about Caleb Plant's wife and George Cambosa's wife, and this guy was just crashing out. And then I said, yeah, Caleb Plant's wife is black, This is his word-for-word response to me. Dude, stop crying like a little bitch. That's what he's saying to me. If I'd known Ryan said some nigga shit, then my interview would have been different. Stop right there. So you didn't know Ryan Garcia did all that, but the first thing you said was, I love Ryan, I'll never bet against him. That's what he said. So you don't know that he said that? Who are you co-signing? You see? The ignorance. It's a grown-ass man, right? Watch this. But most people in this world hates blacks. True. You like that shit. I'm reading how it's written. You like that shit, control your emotions. Huh? That's what it's designed to do. I don't give a fuck who hate niggers. Shit has no power over me. Floyd Schofield much? Walk your black monkey ass with that chain around your neck down some street in West Virginia, see what happened to you. I bet you'll go missing. It's still sundown towns in here. Hoe ass nigga. Then he says, you let that shit live in your head rent free. Okay, so when that shit happened to George Floyd, I don't recall him posting any RIPs or whatever. Maybe he did. When that shit happened to Mike Brown, Philando Castile, I didn't see him say anything. Right, because he's about his money, his bag, and if he ignores racism, like monkey see, hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil, you know, la 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 la, I don't see it, la la la. He's one of those niggas. If I just don't address it, it won't affect me. But I'm about my bag, right? Then he says, but your common sense should have told you I didn't know he said some stupid shit. My common sense? You co-signing a motherfucker and you don't even know him. You know why? Old media got in this professional fighter's head. You know, a professional fighter's head, and just said Devin Haney's the bad guy for suing. Listen to what he says. Because common sense should have told me that he didn't know shit. But if you don't give a fuck, that means you don't care. Because at the end, when he went on this tangent about Devin Haney, which was unprovoked, instead of saying, oh, I don't know enough about that, the dude tried to say at the end of the interview, oh, I think Devin is suing because he said, I don't give a fuck. This is a knuckle dragger. He needs to stop howling like a wolf. And when he walks to the ring, just pull your bottom lip out a little further and start going, oh, oh, oh. Just do that. Just do that. Then he says, other than that, the kid can box. You've seen Ryan Garcia enough to know that? You didn't even know that he wants to resurrect George Floyd and kill him again. You see, wow. But look at his relationship with Tank. You see this? You see this? Look at his relationship with Tank. Wow. Right? And Devin is still a bitch for suing another boxer. You might be a bitch for DMing me. Okay. Here's my response. I love it. And Quentin, somebody's going to DM you this live or whatever. Nigga, pull up. Pull up. I will smoke you on your behavior alone because you ain't nothing but an ignorant nigga. And if you want to pull up and have this discussion, we could discuss it. You're uninformed, you're out of touch, and you're an ignorant knuckle dragger. And I could prove it. I'm proving it right now. I'm proving it right now. So if you want to debate the lack of integrity as a person of color, as a black person, pull up. I'll prove it. Other than reading this. So this is my response to his monkey ass. Oh, so you speak out of ignorance. You did not know what Ryan said, and you're upset that I am correcting you. Terrific. How about saying, I didn't know what he said, all of that. I didn't know that he said all of that. My bad. That's the problem with us as a community. You can call me out my name all you want, but that doesn't change your behavior, which is why I'm hearing you're getting so much backlash from your statements. Mad people hit him up over this shit. I'm not the only one. And I was the most respectful one. All right? And Focus Ball was also. As far as Devin is concerned, I heard you say you knew that you fought dudes on steroids and you did not like it. Sidebar, this monkey fought in Pride Championships. Half of those motherfuckers was on steroids. Half of them were. Matter of fact, more than half of them were. But you was tied down because it was ran by the Yakuza, allegedly. So outside of just saying fuck this and going home, you stayed there and made your money, which means those knees that you French kissed from Wanderlei Silva was roided up. They were roided up. And you ate those. Mwah! You ate those. I'm surprised you still got front teeth, motherfucker. And you had no say-so. You had no say-so who you fought in drug testing. And here you are, trying to attack a black man for doing the right thing. This clown that you love so much, Ryan Garcia, he's another nigga that likes Ryan in his hair, which makes me wonder. Tried to assassinate a black man in the ring and got caught several times, 5 times to be exact. And when he's getting sued for breach of contract, I got a bunch of knuckle draggers someone, oh, get it back in blood. Get it back in blood. Devin said, I want the rematch right away. Ryan Garcia is the one that said no rematch. Ryan Garcia was exposed saying Devin forced this rematch because Ryan didn't want it. Get it back in blood. Get it back in blood. You're not supposed to sue. Why y'all acting like lawsuits is new in boxing? But let me finish what I said to this clown. You compete in combat sports where you could die. If a person knowingly uses a pet and gets away with it, that is attempted murder. There's no honor in that. They don't give a fuck about you or your family. Ryan Garcia is a cheater and a racist who violated a contract. And then he broke the contract. And when you break the contract, you are subject to a lawsuit. You are in the business and you are in the business and you know that. I said, hold up. You brought up Tank? Another ignorant nigga? What the fuck, you niggas running packs? I said that. I said, dude, I supported you for well over 2 decades, purchased all your fights when they were available and never picked against you. This is the only time I ever chose to reach out to you and reach out to you to bring you awareness to what was said. And what was said, because I know you didn't know what Ryan said. And this is your response? I said, wow, dude, okay. You're a grown adolescent that is speaking with an emotional heart because you're being held accountable for doing something wrong. And instead of saying sorry, you're attacking the people that really fucked with you. So enjoy the new fans you get out of this. Those white fans and those Latin fans, you're going to start seeing, they're going to love you because they know you hate yourself. Enjoy that shit, bro. Good luck versus Rashad. And you're lucky you didn't fight Shannon because he would have beaten the teeth out the side of your skull. Fuck your existence. We don't need niggers around like you, sucking up all the oxygen like a horse sucks up nuts like a vacuum. So motherfuck quitting Rampage Jackson. Eat a dick between 2 slices of bread. And I hope you die. Don't! We go back to Eric Jordan, that cash app. He said for Rampage, last fight against Miguel, clapping his booty. That means your booty clapping.
¡Ay, Miguel! ¡Miguel!
Ho ass. You see how easy it is just to let these niggas go? He was over there in pride, and I was so concerned about him. I said, man, he's on roids. He's on roids. He's on roids. He's on roids. And he's over there fighting. By the time he fought Wanderlei Silva a 3rd time, he knocked him unconscious. Wanderlei, his body start looking different. I said, he's not on the juice no more. Matter of fact, I think the only people over in Pride that wasn't on the juice was Rampage and Dan Henderson.
I want to say this about Eric Jordan in the Cash App again. He hit me up again. Appreciate you, Eric. He says, for the power and fury of the ninja sword knocks monkeys, apes, and coons out.
Give power to my nigger sword!
Man, this is all relevant to the topic today, because you got to understand, these athletes, when they're doing the right thing, they're not only fighting the system, which is judging and referees and management. they're fighting these ignorant ass fans, and some of them are fighting they're fighting verbally their contemporaries. Devin Haney will never fight Quentin Rampage Jackson. It won't make sense. But you have an athlete, a black one at that, talking like that. I'm not the only nigga in his DMs. I was actually trying to look out for him. But I know I'm catching the stray because niggas was jumping. Town Biz jumped in his shit. I saw what he wrote. It was shown to me. Good. So since he took that position with me, Quentin, fuck you then. When you end up looking like Gerald McClellan because some dude went upside your head and we're like, oh man, Quentin Rampage Jackson, he's in a coma today, and you fought Akbar Bakhsturganov from Who Gives a Fuckistan, and now you Gerald McClellan out of your mind, and you got to take up GoFundMe because I know you're too stupid to have life insurance. Niggas like you don't have that. Y'all just walk around and go along to get along. You're living from check to check. You're too stupid. And I know that about you. And when that dude pops dirty or whatever, don't think for 2 seconds I'm gonna get on my platform and entertain a motherfucking thing. I'll clip what I said for a short. I'm still gonna do the video. Last time I saw you in the cage, you lost to a dude that his discipline was Russian Sambo. And I'm gonna put our conversation on that video. Drew, what you got? What do you think about Rampage Jackson? Yep, just watch this video. That's one less nigga I gotta deal with. Boys in the Hood, Officer Coffee. Didn't agree with his approach, but I understand. I understand. That dude was done. Whatever happened in that character's personal life, he was done dealing with you niggas. Done.
You know,
I ain't gotta worry about him no more.
It's really interesting because Devin Haney has been one of the most on the level young talents in the sport today and has done everything the right way. He could have like stayed amateur and try to go and be for the Olympics and everything, but he turned pro because he wanted to make some changes in his personal life, being a professional fighter. And his dad did the best that he could for him to bring him up through certain conditions to shape and mold him into the man that he has become and is steady growing into. That's to be applauded. But this is not a domestic problem.
No.
Because we could see just across the pond over in the UK, there is a similar story taking place.
Yeah, say his name.
Daniel Dynamite Dubois.
There you go.
Is the same person over there that Devin Haney happens to be over here. He has a strong patriarch father figure in his life that has made a way for his children, including his daughter, Caroline, whom he's presently, and I'm speaking of the dad, Stan, he's presently estranged from. They have some type of family situation that has made them separate. But Daniel has stayed right in the graces of his dad's teachings and leadership. And though over there culturally, they kind of deal with things a little bit different than we do here,
right,
it's still symbolic of the same thing, because over there, the boxing pundits say that Stan Dubois has too much of a heavy influence over his children's lives. I've never heard a non-melanated dad of a professional athlete that's their child speak of being spoken of as they are too heavily influenced over their lives. What's Miley Cyrus's dad name?
Isn't that country?
Billy Ray, right?
Billy Ray Cyrus, yeah.
Yeah. Have you heard people come out and criticize Billy Ray Cyrus for the lifestyle that Miley has chosen to live and the person that she has come to be? She's her own woman, right?
That's right.
Whether people support that or not. But has anyone ever come out and stuck their finger at him and say, you're a bad dad, your daughter doesn't need you, you know, she needs to get away from your family and this and that? What? And I'm just using that as an example. We have others, the Kardashians, that you can relate, that nobody's coming out and saying that mom has turned her daughters away from a certain sense of chastity and living lifestyle.
That's right.
No, nobody has said that she's a bad mom. But everything with us is triple and quadruple fold. Especially if there's some success behind dad being present and child growing. Remember how they came after Mr. Williams about his daughters?
That's right.
Same thing. They should be separated from that man. Tiger Woods, same thing. He should be away from his dad. Why? I'm going to tell you why. There's a little thing through history that they're definitely trying to erase on a regular basis called slavery. And a part of slavery was taking children away from their parents.
That's right. Talk to them.
Shipping them off somewhere else where they couldn't grow as a unit, because what happens in the unit is love, nurturing, strength, devotion. Maybe even the spirit of liberty can grow from that, and out of that can become rebellion. That's why they would do that. Break families up. Some of you here in the U.S. from certain regions of land are intermarried with your own bloodline, and you don't even know it. Some of you know it. Some of you have upheld it. But if you do research on mixing similar bloodlines, there is something degenerative about it. Yeah. And you develop issues. Yeah. And those issues never get talked about because of lack of education. And people perish because of what?
Lack of education.
Lack of knowledge. Absolutely. So Devin and Daniel, interestingly, the two Ds, are dealing with these matters, and they are successful. Not as a detriment, but in addition to, associated with. Do you remember they were calling Daniel a quitter?
That's right. I remember that.
Because he took a knee in a fight that he was contesting mightily with Joe Joyce, but he felt something was wrong, so he took that knee. The fight was over. We later find out that he had orbital fractures, somewhat to the degree that had he continued, he could be blinded for life because of how his retina had been affected.
It could have cut the bone, could have cut the retina.
Yeah.
That's what we found out.
So he was smart enough because he felt something was wrong. He didn't take the knee because I'm getting beat, so I'm quitting. But a lot of people, again, jumped on that. But he's already showed you his comeback. He did.
Right.
When he was able to resume his career. The situation with Alexander Usyk over in Poland was something else that you will never understand.
That's
and
right.
I'm not going to try to take you through the point of explaining that presently.
I know. And he wouldn't say anything because that's not who he is, but I know.
But here we are. But when he had a chance to go in there against Jarrell Miller, he was the underdog. Jarrell talked at him and spoke that good talk like he did to AJ. Remember what he said to AJ before he got popped? They had a press conference and everything. Remember when he shoved AJ and it looked like he scared the soul out of him? Like AJ when Doctor Strange knocks the soul and spirit out of somebody's body. When Jarrell shoved AJ, you saw his body go back like this in slow motion. And the rest of him was standing right next to Jarrell's hands, just like in Doctor Strange. But anyway, I digress. Daniel Dubois told him at the press conference, "You're a big baby Miller." He said, "But I'm going to show you who's the daddy."
And that's it.
He's not a talker, people. But in that moment, when he said that line, a lot of people were like, oh, they were surprised.
Yep.
And in the fight, he did exactly like that. While Big Baby was posturing and puffing and huffing, "I'm a big bad dude, you better back down, you better go on and quit." Daniel kept whooping on him until he finally broke through to Miller, because Miller wasn't in the type of shape he needed to be in.
Right.
I found myself cheering for Daniel as the fight was turning. And I said, "Come on, man, you got him. Go after him. Step it up." He did exactly that. He rose to a different level. He could have just coasted and tried to get a decision, but he turned up. You've never seen AJ turn up. Never. It was at that moment that I realized he's turned the corner of what they said about him.
Yep.
Then comes Philippe Hergovic talking that good talk. "Oh yeah, I made him quit in the gym and everything." What, when he was like 18?
He was a kid.
Sparring you?
He was a kid.
You beating up on an 18-year-old kid in the gym. You're a professional, but he's not. And you beating up on him in the gym. He says, "We'll see." He gets into the fight with Hergovic.
He stepped to him.
Hergovic hit him with everything he had.
He didn't
even buckle.
Yep.
He walked through Hergovic, went upside Hergovic's head, and you know, once you start getting to those Eastern European guys, if they got a decent chin, the next thing is gonna go is this tissue on their face.
Ask Vitaly Klitschko, who was tough, but you pluck him like this, he get cut.
And he looked like a peeled orange by the time the fight was stopped.
Do y'all understand the nature of the show? Judging, what do you see? I put judges up there. We're all talking about judges, but we're talking about the sport as a whole. We're also talking about how do you see this sport? Now, Daniel Dubois has gotten a bad rap, right? But let me ask you a question. We just mentioned Philip Hergovic said, "Oh, I beat him up when he was a kid." I know another fighter that tried to beat up on a kid at a gym when he was 16 and it didn't work out. In fact, a certain group left out of that gym on the doghouse rules with $5,000 in their pocket. Daniel Dubois took a knee because his orbital bone was cutting his retina. A certain fighter took a knee because his soul gold braid got in his eye. And they didn't even wipe his eye, they wiped his forehead. So when we talk about something called heart, maybe I'll discuss this more tomorrow. Devin Haney and Daniel Dubois, what do you want? What do you say you want out of a fighter? Because I'm looking at Daniel Dubois. He's giving me everything that I want in a fighter. I'm looking at Devin Haney. He's giving me everything that I want in a fighter. There's a discrepancy with a lot of their contemporaries. There was a discrepancy with Anthony Joshua. There's a discrepancy with Tank Davis. There's a discrepancy, some discrepancy with George Kambosos, Vasily Lomachenko. I don't see what Devin Haney's doing wrong. And most of you niggas, all you can say is, you don't sue. Talk to anybody in the business of boxing. They'll tell you about some lawsuits. And you don't even know what the goddamn lawsuit is about. You're assuming what it is. You heard something called battery. It becomes battery when you agree to have a clean fight and you have a foreign substance in your goddamn system, no matter how minute. You are in violation. You guys are stupid. And that I'm smart and you're stupid. And you're a hater. And I understand that about you. That's why I don't do debates. Because time reveals all truth and a lie is nothing but the long way to the truth. They've been singing Daniel Dubois' praises for a long time. You know what else they did? They kept AJ away from him. He could have fought AJ a long time ago. Did y'all know that? And y'all finally found out the reason why. They kept that young man away from AJ. Now you see it. This guy was coddled. Much like, oh my God, I know what tomorrow's live is going to be. I got a picture of Devin Haney and Daniel Dubois and Anthony Joshua and Tank Davis. What do you want? You want the manufactured garbage? Or do you want the organic outcome? Daniel Dubois has walked through the damn fires. Broken orbital bones, self-preservation, health preservation. When he fought Usyk in Poland, do the math, in the middle of the damn Ukrainian-Russian war, do the math. Do you want to be black in Poland in the middle of a Ukraine war? Do you want to be there? And by the way, he won that fight with a goddamn body shot, but who am I? Do y'all understand this sport? Like you think you do? Cameron Fields, the queen, in that super chat, much love and appreciation. She says, salute to Drew and Stormy for always standing on truth. We only know one way to tell it, and that's the truth, queen. And salute to you, queen. And universal truth with the $5 super chat. Salute to you, good brother. Salute to all of you guys, man. For real. But do you understand boxing like you think you do? Or are we just whiners because the fighter that you root for is benefiting? And I'm going to tell you something. Turkey out of Sheik involved in this business, that shit is running out. Y'all notice I ain't do no videos when Turkey went to Shiraz's corner and said, you're down 2 rounds. And then he got a draw. Now, listen, I don't think Shiraz won that fight at all. I don't think he won that fight at all. I'm going to be honest with you. But you know what I'm going to tell you? Don't get mad at Turkey. He kind of fits right into this bullshit, don't he? And what he showed you is, at any time, I could goof shit up. Do you understand? Like any of us. Like any of them. What did he do that was so different that you haven't seen from Eddie Hearn or Frank Warren? Bob Arum got the FBI raiding his place of business. We've seen this before. I'm cool with it. Why do you think Tank is scared to go to Saudi? Oh, Devin is his guy, and I have to go down there and get a knockout. You said you'd knock him out. You said that. You said that. Your fans said that. And now y'all second thinking it because the people that rock with you and the people that direct your career, they didn't want that Lamont Roach rematch. And that's going to be another live. Is the Lamont Roach rematch going to be Tank? Is a Tank Lamont Roach rematch going to look like Roy Jones versus what's his name, Stormy? He was on our show that Roy knocked out in the first round.
Montel Griffin.
Montel Griffin. Is it going to be that kind of thing? Or is it going to be Roy Jones versus Antonio Tarver? And who's going to be Tarver?
What's your excuse tonight, Tank?
Got any excuses tonight, Roy? Y'all remember that? Roy won that first round so easy. I said, man, he's coasting. Second round, I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Yeah. Now you got the world saying, no, we don't want that fight. They tried to take him straight to goddamn Jake Paul, didn't they? Didn't they? Nah, go get the Jake Paul bread. Now, how you gonna go get Jake Paul bread, but at the same time, you clowned every fighter that went over to that Ring Magazine celebration in the UK for getting their money while fighting their contemporaries? So you accuse them of being bitches and bending a knee to him, but you're gonna bend the knee to Jake Paul? Because you know Jake Paul is the A side in that situation. Now you got to fight Lamar Roach now. Now if he beats Lamar Roach, and that's another show I want to do. What do you want to see him do next? If he beats Lamar Roach, what do you want to see him do next? What do you want to see him do next? Here's what I want y'all to say. Tell him to retire. Because if he's not fighting his contemporaries, I'm not hearing it. Jake Paul, after telling us Devin Haney and 140 was too big, you fighting 200-pound Jake Paul? All you guys got to listen. Sometimes all you got to do is let him talk. Tank has made every last one of his people. There's people that have built channels defending everything that guy said. And as of right now, March 23rd, 2025, this guy's contradicted himself badly. And I'm just watching. It always happens. Meanwhile, you got guys like Daniel Dubois fighting the system, Deontay Wilder fighting the system, Devin Haney fighting the system, and I got knuckle dragging niggas mad at these fighters for what? What do you want? Judging, what do you see? You see lawsuits, or you see a man getting done a disservice? Do you see a broken orbital bone, or how he rebounded and is going on a crazy winning streak? And not one of you dummies are even paying attention to Ajit Kabiel, who's on an absolute tear. Y'all don't know boxing. Don't worry. We're here. We got you. And we can tell by the numbers who loves boxing and who don't. You see why I don't do debates? You see, I ain't got
Mahari Nation Sports Podcast. Don't do that.
Yeah. Do me a favor, family. Do me a favor. And I love you, Abel. Just do me a favor, brother. Don't drop anyone's name in my chat. You ain't got to do that.
Don't do that.
You ain't got to do that, brother.
Don't do that.
You ain't got to do that.
In fact, Mahari, you got a wrench. Take your own comment down.
Yeah, just take the comment down for me, brother. Please. You ain't got to do that. You ain't got to do that. I appreciate you, brother, but you ain't got to do that. You ain't got to do that. You know, I'm from the cloth where, and I'm not perfect, y'all. I've gotten mad on here and dropped some names. I have. But moving forward, people know who they are. I appreciate that, Abel. Love you, brother. And people know who they are. They have to. Can you put it like this? Can you imagine having to defend Tank at this point? Anything that he does? Can you imagine taking the knee, a grease in the eye? The fans attacked that woman that lives out here in the Bronx, attacked her for braiding his hair. They attacked her. After bigging up how crispy his braids are, they went from that to trying to kill her or threatening her life. A woman! Protect black women, right? Right? Come on now. All of this over a fight? You know what I'm saying? All you had to do, the fallout with this PB, he lied about the money he was making. I'm making a more lucrative money than I'm making more money than Floyd Mayweather. We got a 7-fight deal. Well, who's the 7? And who's Lamar Roach? Why is Lamar Roach in part of this? What are you doing? All of it is a lie, bro. All of it was a lie. All of it. Remember we had the Super Del Matias fan in here? The only one I've ever seen, and the one Super Del Matias fan that came in here was a fanatic, a crazy loco. He was loco. I'm like, man, we debunked this in real time in 2024 when it happened. We debunked it. What are you talking about? Remember, I kept saying this is the longest week ever, 3 months in the year. I'm like, what happened to this contract? What happened to this contract? He was supposed to send Devin. And it never happened. And I didn't say anything. Remember when Bill came onto my channel? That Super Del Matias fan didn't know any better. He came onto my channel, and I said, you ain't know Bill came up here and said, we calling out Matias? Remember all those lies? Oh, Bill called Peter Khan, and he spoke to the wrong person. That's not true. Peter Khan called them. And then when Team Matias was in the boxing voice, he called in the boxing voice, said, well, I got the right people now. Y'all were looking for me. Let's get it. We'll get back to you next week. Next week never came. He fought Liam Pyro, and what happened? So you got Liam Pyro problems. Why are you talking about Devin Haney? Then I go to that kid's channel. What does he got? A Super Del Matias fan on his YouTube channel has a banner of Ryan standing over Devin, who's a cheater and a racist. Nobody wants to distance himself. You niggas don't want to distance yourself away from a racist if it means supporting the racist and beating on Devin. And that's what I'm saying. You clowns are disgusting. Where's the lie? TD Harden in that super chat, much love. He said that eulogy you did of George Foreman was beautiful. I think everybody should watch it at least once. Great job. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It came from the heart. I was in my, Stormy, I was in my bag. I didn't even, you ever been talking and then things are just popping in your head like, damn, I didn't even know I knew that. I was in my scrapbook bag. I started remembering the order of fights in certain years, and I was like, shit, I don't even know.
Shit, I do it every time I go.
Yo, I was like, oh shit. And I'm doing the video and I just start talking. And you know what? I didn't even mean for the video to be that long. I didn't even mean for the video to go like that. And I was just talking. I'm like, oh,
no,
yeah, that's
T.
right.
Harden's correct. You did do a great job at that, and I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to say that before this very moment. But yeah, you did a great job with that.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. That was from the heart, man. It's like George Foreman. When the dust settled, you're like, man, this dude was great. And I'm gonna tell you something else. You remember when Muhammad Ali was talking about his fighting style? He was like, whoosh, whoosh. He was saying he throws windmill punches. If you look at George's style, in comparison to crispier fighters, it was a bit of an eyesore, wasn't it?
Well, no, I kind of disagree. George is one of the few, you could call him a puncher, but he wasn't a slugger. Guys like Shavers, Frazier, those were sluggers. Ron Lyle, sluggers. Right. But George had a technical manner about himself. And his trainer, forgive me, what was his name? The little short brother, I can't think of his name.
Oh man, right? I got his face in my head. As soon as you can't remember his name, I can't remember his name.
He was a cousin of the featherweight.
Eric Jordan in that super chat, he said Liam put Mr. Rakete to good night.
Good night.
I was trying to think of his name. Anyway, what I was trying to say is that he was taught to be very technical. He had a telephone pole like jab. He threw very good straight punches, but his looping and uppercut punches were very dangerous because he was so heavy-handed. And he gave the impression of being slow, but he was not slow. He was quick. And so, he didn't have Ali-like hand speed, right, but he had good, fast twitch muscles, which means his punches, he could get them off quick. And that's why guys like Ken Norton and Joe Frazier had difficulty with him, right, because if he was a slower guy, right, they would have more success against him, but right, they couldn't. And George was a master with his defense. He knew how to use his arms defensively.
Oh, I'm glad you said that. Let me read this real quick because I want to ask you that. And this is why I said what I said. TD Harden back in that super chat, he said, Titan and the Sensei, one of my favorite duos. Salute to you, good brother. Thank you so much. Want to ask you, the reason why I'm saying it appeared to be a bit of an eyesore was because it wasn't the most, when I say crispy, I mean, it's not like you're watching a guy that knows the basics, keeps his hands up, head movement, whatever. It looked sloppy, but it was an organized style. When you said his hands was out, people call it mummy style. But what George did, very old school, he parried a lot of punches, which is why his hands was out. Could you expand on that? Because a lot of people don't understand what he was doing when he had the glove out like that. Could you expand on what that was?
A lot of times he could catch your punches in his hands. A lot of times he could knock your punches down. A lot of times he could make you hit his arms. And what it was always keeping himself in a position to hit you right back off of that.
Right.
Because I've always talked about the best time to hit a guy is when he's trying to hit you.
It's true.
So George understood that. And with that telephone pole of a jab that he had, he knew that if he hit you with a single jab, or even a double jab, his jab is more than likely going to knock you off balance.
Right.
So he's a fighter that comes forward, and behind his footwork, he can bring even more power and leverage on the shots. Those things were taught. It's a skill that's taught. And a lot of people, again, when you hear me putting down trainers up today and everything, it's because that's kind of something that's missing. Now, somebody mentioned a cross-arm defense. He picked up the cross-arm defense in his second career. When he brought Archie Moore into his camp, who was a part of his old camp too. But Archie told him about that because George had lifted weights and got his arms to be bigger.
Right.
And so he could cover up more real estate by using the cross-arm defense. But a very effective man, and he knew how to body bump you too with his strength.
Right.
George was a naturally country strong man.
Yeah.
Out of Texas. You know, he was one of those guys that's just strong like that. Kind of like a Bo Jackson was. You know what I mean?
Right.
In their heyday of athleticism. So he was able to capitalize on that. And again, his trainer had him doing certain things. But one of the things, and I'll tell you, go watch his fight with George Chuvalo. When you watch how he beat up, and Chuvalo had a great chin, but George beat the crap out of George Chuvalo because he could box. Remember, George won a gold medal.
Yes.
Ali won in 1960. Frazier won in 64. Foreman won in 68. All three men became heavyweight champion of the world.
Look at that.
And fought each other.
Come on now.
So when I say these things, it speaks to the nature of where boxing was at that time and talent and skill set. George couldn't beat Ron Lyle if he couldn't box.
There you go. He outboxed him.
Ron Lyle couldn't box. He was a slugger. He wanted to get in there and mix it up. Some fighters are driven like that. That they have that fire, that heat, and they just want to get after it. There's not a lot of thought process behind that. Because once you become a little fatigued, then it's open season on you. That's why Shavers was only good for like 6 or 7 rounds. And then after that, you can have your way with him. But you got to get through them first 6 or 7 rounds, which was not going to be an easy task. So, watching these men, you could learn a lot from the way they fought that tells you about styles. Again, George Foreman was not a slugger. He was a punching boxer. He could punch. It's a big difference, a huge difference.
Right.
When he set Frazier up with the jab, peppering with the jab, The first uppercut he threw, boom, Joe was in trouble in that instance. In that instance. Because there was no way for him to get out of the way of Foreman's punches. Because if Foreman is throwing the straight shots, you know, Joe Frazier got to get at you. He got to get close to you.
Right.
So he's catching those straight shots coming in. How many times did Ali catch him with those jabs and right hands? And Ali didn't punch like George. You understand? So that's why Ali didn't get the result that George got.
Right.
But each and every time that Ali fought Joe was lumped and bumped up from the butterfly shots. You understand? So there's a lot to be said about this, you know? And again, being able to come back 10 years later and contend and fight for the heavyweight title 2 times. I mean, we're talking about someone who was a special fighter. He was an Olympian, a gold medalist.
That's right.
George has started boxing a year before he went to the Olympics. A year.
Come on
before
now.
he went to the Olympics, and he won the gold.
He wasn't meant to do anything else. And even his prime, it makes you debate when his prime was, whether he was younger or older. He still had work to do. Those 10 years he took off, that was 10 years of healing. That was 10 years of growth mentally, finding God and understanding who he was as a person. And the cardio was through the roof because he was he was at least 50 pounds heavier than what he used to be. And he's standing in between rounds. I mean, that was just remarkable stuff. And you couldn't write a better story. You couldn't write a better story. And when you see, now here I come with I'm gonna come with it now. When I look at the fighters that they put on a pedestal in comparison to the fighters that I came up watching, there is no comparison. Why do you guys think that I support who I support on my channel? Guys like Errol Spence is trying to fight the best. Guys like Deontay Wilder, guys like Devin Haney. How can I believe what you say when I see what you do? You understand? If you're gonna duck a fight, you better have a damn good explanation. When Errol Spence had to cancel the Manny Pacquiao fight, didn't he have to bring all kinds of doctor's notes and everything else? Nobody believed him, right? Remember that? And I'm like, this is Errol Spence. Why would he be chasing Manny Pacquiao just to duck him? You know, I was talking to a brother in Jason Black's chat yesterday. He's still from the cloth of that was cut, saying that Floyd tried to get Floyd waited Manny out till he got old, and it was too much to discuss. And I'm gonna do a revisit of Manny because he was one of the greatest stall-outs in the history. He was trying to stall Floyd out. Actually, he's trying to avoid that goddamn fight. Food for thought. How are you trying to age Manny out when Manny? Wait, hold on. Floyd's older than Manny. So what the hell are y'all talking about? Floyd is older than him. I mean, we unpacked it when it happened. But when I looked at the chat, there were still people on 10, 12-year-old arguments that we've been debunked. So it makes you wonder, where are they getting their news from? Hater channels, because the haters got the big microphone. The haters are put into the algorithm. Do y'all know that? Meanwhile, we come out here and we speak from the heart and we provide facts, data, and statistics with everything that we say as it pertains to boxing. And they do weird shit like unsubscribe people from us, don't put us in the algorithm. This is what they do. So when I say like the video, share the video, I'm not going to rely on Google and Miguel at YouTube to share my stuff. Because I'm telling the truth about the dudes that they jacking off over, like Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis with his mousse in his hair. But you know what always happens to those guys? They get found out 100%. 6 years ago, we was going through the same thing with Anthony Joshua, and I said, just give it a minute. You ducking Deontay? Okay, give it a minute. And what happened? He found out that not only was he being used as a tool, but you find out that there's a reason why there was a lot of fights he didn't take. And his ass is still on the chopping block. Guess what, y'all? He will never beat Daniel Dubois. What you saw was what you saw. He can come back here to get Derrick James, Robert Garcia. You know, he can get resurrect Angelo Dundee. You can do all of that. It's not going to work, bro. Go rock with Sugar Hill. It's not going to work, bro. You are who you are. You will never beat Alexander Usyk. You will never beat Daniel Dubois. You will never beat Deontay Wilder. You will never get in the ring with him. You was talking about retirement. That's what you did. That's what you was doing. But I ain't gonna preach to the choir. Y'all already know what type of time I'm on. It's the mother effing strong house, man. There is no debate. For you to debate is just for you to stand in the pocket for everything that's wrong with boxing. Judging, what do you see? That's what this was about. It's deeper than the judges being on the take. That's easy. We know judges be on the take. We know referees be on the take. We know the business is corrupt. I welcome Turkey Al-Sheikh because if it is corrupt over there, I'm saying good for y'all. That's just he's just coming in and doing when in Rome, do what the Romans do. Do what the Romans do, right? Now y'all got to deal with it. And you know what's worse? He got a real bag. He could just pay these guys. He ain't got to say, well, I'm going to promise you $5 million and get your back end money. That worked for a little while. Shout out to Al Hammond, but that's out the window now. You're going to get underpaid or appreciated like, I don't know, like you are in Top Rank, being a black fighter on there. When they have a NBF, no black fighter rule over there, yet Shakur still took his ass over there, right? You can go to the WBC, right? Go that route. Ask Franchon Cruz DeZern how she felt about how she was treated. Right? Hey, man, check Tyson Fury's gloves. You just want to ruin a historical night of boxing. That's what he told us. Well, where the gloves? And Sugar Hill told me himself, they're in the house. I told Mauricio Sillyman, I said, they're in the house. Go check them. Nah. But Labarbi got cheated by Rio Togo out of Japan. The gloves was on his desk the next day. How come you're a defending WBC champion, 10 title defenses? How come he didn't get extended the same courtesy? You told us shut the fuck up. And then y'all get mad when we point out the obvious racism. Here's my challenge to you. Where's the lie? Everything I told you, am I lying? The racism part, it's not speculation. What I just told you he did, that's what he did. Franchon Cruz DeZern, I asked her, Alejandro Jimenez, I said, was she drug tested? What did he say? You're just bullying her because she's gay. I ain't say nothing about her being gay. It's obvious. There go her girlfriend right there. Then when she fails a drug test, you find out she's going through the whole sex change. And she was on the pills or injections or whatever those people do. And I said, oh, there's a problem right there. She's trying to grow a dick. So by today's standards, technically, Franchon Cruz DeZern was in there with a man. And then took your sweet ass time giving that sister her belt back. But Rio Togo beat up Labarbi with padding removed out the gloves, and the gloves was on his goddamn desk. Now, why does Labarbi gets extended courtesy? But Deontay Wilder, who generates you way more money, got none. Franchon Cruz DeZern got none. When it came time for Jamal Charlo to fight Canelo Alvarez, I'm like, all right, we're going to get it now. Franchise. And Canelo ducked him. When it came time for Lomachenko to fight Devin Haney, oh, we're going to see who wins now. Franchise. He ducks Devin. Devin ends up with the WBC strap, email champion. And y'all don't pay attention who sent the email. And when Mauricio Sillyman is asked about it, y'all remember the original rules? You can move up and down the weight. It's a special privilege. You move up and down the weight, and you never lose a status. As soon as Teofimo Lopez beat Vasily Lomachenko, all of a sudden he gets it. I said, why is he getting that belt? I thought it wasn't transferable. He changed the rules right there. Y'all remember when he wanted to suspend and investigate Deontay Wilder because he said he wanted a body on his record? Let me ask y'all a question. What's worse? Deontay Wilder on the Breakfast Club saying, I want a body on my record. He stopped everything and they wanted to investigate him and suspend him and everything else. What's worse? Deontay doing that or Tyson Fury cheating? And you're not even wanting to investigate anything. And he has a record of cheating. What's worse? Deontay Wilder saying that, or you getting with a known gun and drug dealer named Daniel Kinahan? Time reveals all truth. When he told us to go to hell, I do what I want. Y'all remember when he said that?
Whatever, I do what I want.
Literally a week later, America put a $5 million bounty on that man's head. And everybody on the MTK Global roster were not allowed on U.S. soil. They had to work really hard to say we wasn't with that. We was just over there making money. Josh Taylor was on that list. I think, wasn't Katie Taylor on that list, I think? And Tyson Fury's on that list, and he's still not here. ESPN don't tell you these things. So if your source for boxing information comes from the worldwide leader of sports, abandon ship. Abandon ship. What you can do, though, is go fuck with the Ring magazine because they just did this. Now, although I don't think heavyweights should be on the pound for pound list, it is what it is. Y'all done changed the rules over the years. I've seen pound for pound lists where they factor in revenue generated. Go figure, right? But whatever. Look who's not there. GTD is not there. Go figure that shit. So there we go. So cut it out. But shout out to your boy Tank, though. Calling timeouts during the fight, man. C-Web ain't got shit on this kid, man. Salute to C-Web, man. Much love, dogs. Well, I'm done rambling, bro. Stormy, let them know they can find you, brother.
Man, everybody can find me right here on YouTube. Stormy B-Man is the channel. That's Stormy B-Man in all caps, but no cap.
There it is. I'm more hungry than a hostage, man. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to my Patreon. I'm about to put up some new content tomorrow night. I appreciate the support. For more unedited content, follow me on Patreon, Drew Titan, LLC. I'm a god amongst men. Look at me. I'm so handsome. And salute to everybody in the Venmo, the Zelda, Cash App, Super Chats, man. Y'all make the show go round, man. I'll be back tomorrow morning talking this boxing. Dig? And the Queens should be on, right? Queens of the Ring, it should be on. Let's go support. Y'all remember, like and share the video. We are our own algorithm. We are our own algorithm. And one more time, salute to Jason Black, and thank you for sharing, allowing me to come on your platform and talk some boxing, man. Salute to you, good brother. And Nerds on Culture tomorrow. We got a real fun conversation tomorrow. Do not miss that show. Do not miss that show. We're going to have fun. It's going to be on Stormy B-Man's channel. There it is, man. I'll catch you on the rebound, man. Bronx on deck.
Move! Why are you gay?
Who says I'm gay?
You are gay.